Hey, who wins it?
I got to tell you something right now. When I look at this, I'm going to roll with the Panthers because I think the Chiefs are a different team on the road than they are at home, record aside. I know they've been balling right now. What have they won? 4 straight and 5 of their last 6. Andy Reid, my buddy from his Philadelphia days, is obviously doing an outstanding job. Questionable health on the part of Alex Smith. Jamal Charles not being in there, even though the boys, Jarkandrick Weston, those boys have been playing well enough anyway, especially Spencer Ware at the running back spot. I just think it's one of those situations where Carolina is trying to get it together. There's a level of urgency. Every game really counts right now. They lose another game like this, their season could be over, particularly since they're in the same division as the Atlanta Falcons. I think recognizing that, there's going to be an elevated level of urgency in Charlotte, North Carolina. Carolina will answer the call, and I don't view Kansas City's offense as high-powered enough to really take advantage and exploit that secondary in Carolina the way that other teams could. I think this is the kind of game that's tailor-made for Carolina on their home turf, and I think they'll find a way to win it.
Yeah, what this game comes down, I mean, instead of just repeating what Stephen A. Smith just said, we think along the same lines. What it comes down to is this. Do you think the Panthers season is over? Because if you think the Panthers season is over, pick against them. But if you think that they have enough in them coming off the Super Bowl appearance to continue going forward this season and maybe make the playoffs, at least keep that hope alive, then you pick the Panthers, and I feel the latter, so I'm taking the Panthers to win.
I'm taking the Panthers as well. And I look at Kansas City like, I think from a passing game standpoint, that's where they have a tough time, especially as Alex Smith is playing the quarterback position, exploiting a team downfield. Macklin was a little banged up last week. Don't know what his status is right now. But that one is the one that concerns me. And I always seem to feel like the Kansas City Chiefs kind of play to the level of the competition that they're playing against. So they're going to step down a level in Carolina right now. Believe it or not, Cam Newton has better stats right now through the first 8 starts this year than he did last year. And he got hot in the second half of the season. Defensively, their front seven is starting to play a little bit better in Carolina. I like Carolina in a tight game against Kansas City.
What do you think is the bigger factor, the fact that they're playing at home or the level of desperation that Carolina has to have?
I think it's the level of desperation. Yeah, I agree. There is both of those, but I think it's the level of desperation right now. And you see a glimmer of hope. I mean, let's face it. You look at the 2 top teams in the league right now. AFC is New England. NFC right now is the Dallas Cowboys. They're playing better than anybody else. But in the NFC, you have to look at yourself at 3-5 right now and go, if we get on a run here, we got every chance in the world to at least compete for a possibility to win this division. And, oh, by the way, at least we'll be in the fight. If we can go, 10-6-ish, we're going to be in the fight for
3-6, it's over.
Right. We're going to be in a fight for a wild card spot. So I think it's the desperation aspect.
Stephen A., you think they have a shot to reach the playoffs?
I think they have a shot still because I think the NFC is up for grabs. If the Eagles, I think you got to look at the Giants right now. The way that the Giants are playing, they can ruin everything because they already have 5 wins on the season. So, you got Dallas in the NFC East. You got, you don't know what's going to happen in the NFC North because of Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit. So you got to assume that one of the wild cards could potentially come from there. I think that's what Carolina is battling for. I don't know if it's going to come out of the NFC West this time around. So if you're Carolina, you've got your eyes on Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit in the North, and likely, in all likelihood, the Giants in the NFC East. Could you get one of those slots? The likelihood is possible because somebody for the NFC North could fall off and somebody could stand above the crowd. That's what Carolina's going to have to fight.
By the way, even in the East, the NFC East complicates it because in the beginning of the season, we looked at the NFC East and thought it's a bad division, but as usual, the NFL can surprise you. And it turns out the wild card easily come out of the NFC East. They have good records in that division. And even the Cowboys, it feels like the Cowboys are running away with it. All the Giants have to do is pick up 1 game between now and Week 13 when they play the Cowboys. And if they can win that game, which is at home, and the Giants have already beaten them at Dallas, they are in first place, not the Cowboys, because they'll also have the tiebreaker, obviously. So in terms of the Panthers winning or getting a playoff spot, I think they actually need to win the division. Fortunately for them, if they win this game, they can do it.
I think what we're saying, but what we're saying right now is that a wild card is likely going to come out of the NFC East. So it's going to be a battle between the North and the South as to where that second wild card is going to come from. That's what it comes down to for me, Schlereth. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, you could look at the NFC East and saying, in all likelihood, you can get both wild cards out of the NFC East because the Washington Redskins, don't forget, 4-3-1 right now, and they got hot in the second half of last season. So, I mean, I'm with you. I think one of the wild cards, at least one, comes out of the NFC East, and I'm with you on the North-South.
And the Falcons have collapsed in the second half.
Wait, you guys, let's pull up the schedule quickly because they still have games against the Seahawks, Raiders, and Falcons. And I want to know specifically, how many losses do you think they'll have, Mark, when you're looking at this schedule moving forward? Because it's not easy.
No, it's certainly not. It's certainly not easy. There's no question about that. And it depends on how hot they get. You know, you always worry about them playing teams that can throw the ball because that secondary was fractured, and they counted on that front seven. Well, that front seven hasn't been the same. Short hasn't been the same from a production standpoint of rushing the quarterback. Ely hasn't been the same rushing the quarterback. So it's been different for Carolina this year as that stellar defense last year really dominated. This year they're struggling to dominate and find that domination and find that balance between the back end and the front end of that defense.
Stephen A.
Well, I'm on record. I think Carolina is going to win 6 of their next 8 games. I don't believe they're going to lose another home game. I think they're going to protect their home turf. They're going to lose one of those road games against the Raiders in Seattle. I'll wait and hold off judgment on whether or not they'll lose to the Redskins on the road because, Schlereth, here's the deal. The Redskins and their fan base got a little bit sensitive when I got to call them out a few weeks ago. They came back at me pretty hard, and they haven't won a damn game since. So this is what happened to them, Schlereth. You know, they came at your boy, and now bad luck is coming their way.
I have a question for Schlereth real quick.
I think they're going to overcome it this weekend. I think the Redskins will get something done this weekend. We'll see. But right now, bad luck is staining them a little bit.
Real quick on
your boy.
the Panthers. So how much of that, like, from the media's point of view, right? Like a fan or someone in the media looks at the Panthers and said the story here is, how much championship metal do they have, right? They just got to the Super Bowl. They won the NFC. This is now a test to me, sitting back and watching this, of do they have that championship metal? Is that all nonsense, or is there something to that?
No, I think there's definitely something to that. I mean, we always talk about learning how to win, learning how to get over the top in tight situations. I think the biggest thing with the Raiders, I think we all thought the Raiders were really talented last year. They still ended up, what, 8-8? Mm-hmm. But this year, they have learned how to win those close games. All of a sudden, overtime games in New Orleans, bam, you win a game. You know, that's what they've been able to do. Or I don't know if that was an overtime game, but it was that last play. They go for 2, whatever the case may be. They have learned to win those tight games where they didn't last year. So I think there is something of that championship medal that you're talking about.
They're closing.
Yeah.
Mark, always good to see you. We'll
My
see you
pleasure.
next week. Have an awesome weekend.
Yep.
First Take is brought to you by the $4.99 DQ Chicken Strip Basket at participating locations. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
All right, you know what it is. Don't miss your chance to enter the First Take Your Take viewer contest. You can win a chance to debate Stephen A. and Max right here on national television. All you got to do is go to firstTakeYourTake.com, upload a 1-minute video with your best original sports debate. Keep it clean, no music, team logos, trademarks, or copyrighted material. Our staff's going to choose 2 winners, male and female. So get to work, and you could be right here in Bristol with us, folks. Here's a few of the latest submissions.
Now, to create this notion and this idea that KD ran off to Golden State to chase money, it's just wholly inaccurate. He just got tired of being a consummate playoff round exit, and he decided to bail off and steal a ring because he wants to cement his own personal legacy.
I'm simply here to tell you how horrible the Knicks are. I mean, it's no secret. We all love Carmelo, legend, but in my opinion, he needs to go back to Syracuse and get some D1 conditioning in.
Lamar Jackson, University of Louisville's quarterback. That man right there, he is the star. He is something Johnny Manziel wishes he was. He surpasses Browning and Watson alone on the passing yards and touchdown yards. And then if we throw in those rushing touchdowns, ooh, that's a whole different subject.
I like the last one, the yellow with the full screen. How about that?
I like the first lady because I like what she, not only did she bring the flavor, but she went after what's called a straw man. No one's actually saying Durant left for money. No one's saying that. But because she's saying people said it, it allows her then to make her point. You see what I mean? It's a straw man. It's a sophisticated technique.
Well, I like the last one because she brought up Lamar Jackson, which is somebody we haven't talked about much since that game against Clemson. He's clearly going to win the Heisman. He's electrifying. He's sensational, but we're so inundated with NFL stuff and the election and everything else. You know, the college football landscape. You know, he's been the face of it, even though the teams themselves have obviously gotten recognition for being the top 4: Alabama, Michigan, Clemson, and Washington. But this brother is big time. So I like the fact that she brought him up.
The ladies brought it. Very impressed. Now let's get to the games. Who's going to bring it, the Broncos or the Saints? So who do you trust more on Sunday, the Saints offense or the Broncos defense? Max Kellerman.
Drew Brees at home is always the answer, and especially when the Broncos' vaunted defense is missing their starting corners. Stephen A., I like the Saints offense here.
I concur. I have nothing to add to that because the Saints are obviously electrifying and they're big time, and we all know Drew Brees and what he brings to the table. They've got the #2 ranked offense. They've got the #1 passing attack in all of the NFL and a future Hall of Fame quarterback. I will say this, though. Is suspect as Denver's defense is, it ain't because of their secondary. It's because of their ability to defend against the run, along with the core linebackers that might be having some troubles defending tight ends. But it's not really their secondary in terms of those wideouts. They can handle their business.
But indoors
it's the front of their defense.
Indoors in that arena against Drew Brees, you better have your starting corners. Oh, it's a bad news if you don't have your starting corners.
The man is completing nearly 70% of his passes. This is the same guy I told you deserved his money. 21 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions, QBR 66. Got to play respectable football.
We got to keep him
because
going.
Drew Brees is the face of the Saints.
All right, Vikings travel to D.C. to face the Redskins. Who do you trust more on Sunday, Stephen A.?
I'm going to trust the Redskins. I have no reason to trust them. They don't deserve my trust. They haven't earned it because they're too busy talking in supremacy in the NFC East instead of thinking about greener pastures. But nevertheless, I think the last 2 weeks, a tie and a loss, ultimately has got them, worried a little bit. I think a level of urgency gets attached to it. Without Adrian Peterson, with Sam Bradford not getting exposed because that offensive line can't protect him, with Stephon Diggs being the only reliable receiver, Kyle Rudolph's all right, but I'm just looking at Minnesota right now. They look vulnerable, and I think the Redskins are going to get them.
I like Minnesota because in a league where it's hard to stand out, how much special stuff do you see? You see the Raiders offense, the Falcons offense look special. The Patriots always look special. Certain defenses at times, Minnesota was one of those teams.
I like the Jams too, Stephen A.
There was a time where the Vikings looked special this year. That means they have it in them on defense, and I like the Vikings against Washington.
I want to go to a club with Stephen A. All right, Seahawks take on the Patriots in a rematch of Super Bowl 49. We'll see. I can't take it. Will the Seattle defense shut down Brady, Max?
There's no shutting down Tom Brady and the Patriots right now, but I don't think they have to win. I like Seattle in a good game against the Patriots to pull off the upset, not only because their defense will do as good a job as it's possible to do on the Patriots. Doesn't mean they'll shut them down. But I think the Seattle offense is starting to come around because Russell Wilson seems, to my eye, to be feeling a little better, posing more of a threat. So they won't shut them down, but they'll win.
Seattle's offense runs away from no one. They do what they need to do. The bottom line is that's an Achilles heel against a quarterback the quality of Tom Brady. He's too great. He's on a mission. He's balling. And it's lovely, lovely, Max Kellerman, to hear you say nobody's going to shut down Brady, the guy you don't believe deserves MVP because he missed 25% of the season.
Yes,
it's nice to hear you admit that nobody can shut him down because to me that epitomizes what an MVP should be.
Half the game so far. That's right. He's not in the MVP.
I love this segment.
Interrupting me don't make your point any better.
All right.
It's all right.
Let's
25%.
Let's move on. But I do feel like we're in the Jersey Shore right now, and I love it. Steelers are hosting the Cowboys. What do you expect from Big Ben Sunday? Stephen A., your Steelers.
I know he better show up. I know that Ben Roethlisberger better throw for better than 350 yards. He better find Antonio Brown early and often. Get Sammy Coates up in there. Darius Hayward-Bay. By the way, get Le'Veon Bell the ball, too. The Steelers better not lose this game and expose me to the worst fan base in American history, known as the Dallas Cowboys. The Steelers will win this game because they're going to do it for me.
Stephen A., what's your Twitter handle again?
Huh? I'm not saying.
At Stephen
I'm
A.
not saying.
Smith.
People
I'm
to
keeping that to
DM you
myself.
with messages
At
about the
Stephen A.
Cowboys?
Smith. At Stephen A. Smith.
I
At
think the
Stephen A. Smith.
Steelers-
Facebook.com/Stephen A.
Steelers
Both
are a
counts.
great
All right?
franchise
I'm not
with a
running.
great offense when it's clicking and a great quarterback. I expect Ben Roethlisberger to come up big.
He better. He better show up.
And Antonio
I
Brown's
can't
gonna put
take
up
it.
numbers eventually. Come on.
Listen, y'all. I understand we battle here on the show and all of this stuff, but y'all better show me some damn love. Don't expose me to this. The Steelers better show up. I'm telling you right now, I can't deal with the Cowboy fans. I can't deal with them. I can't take it. If they beat my Steelers, I might not show up to work Monday. I'm trying to tell y'all right now.
No
I'm warning
sick
y'all.
calls.
Steelers better show up.
Sick calls. You
Steelers
hear
better
me?
show up.
You want to
don't
get out
miss
your
work.
cell on the air?
You don't
Please.
miss work. Your attendance is perfect.
Boss Dave Roberts, yo, man, I'm calling in Monday.
Please.
I'm taking Monday. I can't deal with
Stephen
the
A., how
Dallas
do you
Cowboys
think
fans. I can't
Browns
deal with
fans
it.
feel right now? Think of the city of Cleveland, what they have to deal with. Did you see that last night?
The hell
They
with
have
that.
it hard.
I ain't thinking about
Not
that right
you.
now.
Oh,
Not
Cowboys
you.
Browns fans.
Absolute.
Sorry, dog.
Cowboys